Chairman.
The House and Committee on the Governor-General Bill and the Rugby World Cup 2011 Empowering Bill. Members, we move first to the Governor-General Bill, and the question is that Part 1 stand part. Chris Hipkins.
Thank you very much, Mr Chairman. Very happy to take a call on the Governor-General Bill, the Part 1 of the Governor-General Bill. A bill that was worked over by the Government Administration Committee, which I have a privilege of being on. So this is a relatively technical part of the debate on the Governor-General Bill, so I thought I'd actually talk about some of the significant changes that Part 1 of this bill actually makes. And the first, significant change that it makes is in relation to the definition of family for the Governor-General. I think people would be surprised to learn that while the Governor-General the funding arrangements and so on for the Governor-General have always included the concept of covering certain things to do with the Governor-General's family, it's never actually been defined what the Governor-General's family actually consists of. So this piece of legislation now clarifies that matter, makes it very clear what the Governor-General's family is, and it defines a family as the partner or a spouse, or a child under 18 who is being provided with ongoing daily care, is being maintained as a member of the Governor-General's family and is not living with another person in a marriage, civil union or de facto relationship. I think that's really important that that's spelled out very, very clearly because when we're providing government assistance to somebody who is not an office holder themselves but is the family member of an office holder, I think it's important that we are very clear about who may or may not be entitled to be supported in that regard. Clause 5 deals with the salary of the Governor-General. Now, there's been a significant amount of debate about this clause in particular, a lot of debate in the media about whether or not the changes that Parliament is making is increasing the remuneration of the Governor-General or not. There have been editorials in our local paper here, the Dominion Post, decrying the supposed increase in the amount of money being given to the Governor-General. That's not the case, but the way the nature of some of the changes can lead to confusion. So I think it's important that we take some time to go through those quite carefully. Under Clause 5, the salary rate of the Governor-General will be set by the Remuneration Authority. That's the same authority that establishes the salary rates for members of Parliament, I believe for the judiciary, for other important constitutional officers. So it's independent. It's not motivated by politics. It's motivated by a whole range of factors. So the public of New Zealand can be, confident that by having an independent remuneration authority establishing what the Governor-General should be paid, there's some integrity into that process, and the salaries that come out of it aren't going to be pittance that don't reflect the status of the office, but also they're not going to be exorbitant either. So I think that's Clause 5 that deals with that and establishes that it's the Remuneration Authority that will establish ultimately what the Governor-General gets paid. Clause 7 is the one where there was significant public debate through the news media and the newspaper, and that's to do with the sum that gets paid to the Governor-General after they vacate the office of Governor-General. Once a person ceases to hold the office of a Governor-General, other than if they die, they will be paid a lump sum equivalent to their gross salary for their last 6 months in office. So that's a change from the arrangements under the previous Civil Lists Act of 1979, which provided for the lump sum to be paid equivalent to 3 months of their salary, but also they would have been paid, in addition to that, 3 months of their allowance, of their previous allowance arrangements. This bill makes significant changes to the allowance arrangement. So what the recommendation put to the committee and enacted through this bill is that in order to maintain the quantum that the Governor-General gets paid on leaving office at about the same level as it's at now, rather than having 3 months of the new salary arrangements plus 3 months of the new allowance arrangements, it would be better simply to have 6 months of the new salary arrangements and not include the allowance arrangements in the payment to the Governor-General on leaving office. So the intention of this, rather than actually to increase the amount of money or a golden handshake for Governor-Generals, as I think it was reported in some media outlets, the intention is actually to maintain the status quo effectively and ensure that Governors-General, when they leave office, end up in roughly the same position as they are at now, Mr Chair. Thanks very much, Mr Chair. So the Cabinet Secretary wrote to the Dominion Post to outline these changes, made it very clear that the changes to, and I'll quote directly because it's important that this is very clearly spelled out, to ensure that a future Governor-General receives a payment on leaving office that compares broadly with that available under the current law. That was from the Cabinet Secretary. As the changes to the Governor-General's allowance will lead to a smaller personal sum, the previous payment of 3 months' salary and 3 months' allowance would be more than under the new arrangement. So this bill overall, I guess I probably should have said that at the beginning, removes the tax exemption from a Governor-General, which is why there are such significant changes to the way they're paid and the nature of the allowances for the Governor-General, because previously the Governor-General did not pay tax. That's not going to be the case anymore. They will be just the same as you or I or any other New Zealander, which of course is in the great egalitarian New Zealand tradition. And I think it's great to be seeing our de facto head of state subject to the same taxation arrangements as the rest of the country. Well, we won't tax we will not put GST on his fresh fruit and veggies. That's a very good point from Mr Hayes, and I thank him for pointing that out for me. So the Governor-General, if he chooses to lead a healthy lifestyle, will not pay GST on his fresh fruit and veggies under a Labour government. Under a Labour government, he will not pay GST on his fresh fruit and veggies, and I thank Mr Hayes for pointing that out and highlighting that very, very good policy from the Labour opposition. Clauses 8 and 9 deal with the annuities to former Governor-Generals and their spouses. Now, an annuity for a Governor-General is payable 6 months after they have ceased being Governor-General. And of course the reason that it's 6 months after they've ceased being a Governor-General is for that first 6 months they receive the payment on leaving office. So the annuity basically kicks in after they will have used up that 6 month payment. A lot of New Zealanders would question this and question annuities and other allowances paid to people who no longer hold public office. There's scrutiny on former members of Parliament's travel and what former members of Parliament get and so on. I put forward a pretty strong argument actually that a former Governor-General should receive an annuity. There's a pretty limited range of career opportunities, I would have thought, within New Zealand for a former Governor-General. So I think it's only fair that they have taken probably 5 years out, and 6 because they're often extended for that extra year that they seem to get, out of their lives to serve this country. It's probably narrowed down the career options available to them when their term finishes. It's important, I think, that our former de facto heads of state, which is what Governors-General are, I think it's important that they can live the rest of their lives with reasonable comfort and dignity. So clauses 8 and 9 deal with the annuities that can be paid to a Governor-General, former Governor-General. Now, if a person dies after ceasing to hold office, their spouse or partner is entitled to an annuity at half the previous yearly rate until they die. So the spouse of a former Governor-General, the former Governor-General passes away, they'll still be provided for, not at the same rate, it's obviously at half the rate of what they would have received had the former Governor-General still be alive. Important point here is if the Governor-General dies whilst still in office, which it's a possibility, their spouse or partner is entitled to annuity at half the rate that would have been paid to the Governor-General had the Governor-General resigned on the date of death. So that, unlike the annuity for the Governor-General, this one comes into effect straight away because the spouse won't get that 6 month payment on leaving office that a Governor-General would receive when they leave office. So the annuity kicks in straight away. And I think that's important because it recognises the contribution of the spouse, which can be